Welcome back to another Fusion 360 tutorial. I wanted to make a quick video about what to do if you run into problems or you make a mistake on your drawing. There are a few different ways that you can go about changing things, and I'm going to show you two of the common ones that are kind of quick to grasp. So the simplest one is undo. You're going to notice that my block on my screen looks very similar to the 1, 2, 3 blocks that we made in our original series of tutorials. But this one, in this instance, has the wrong height, okay, or the wrong length, depending how you look at it. So this one is 4 inches tall. It should be 3 inches tall. If I want to go back and change something, perhaps the simplest way is to use the undo arrow. So up here in the top left corner, we've got our undo arrow. It looks like a left turn arrow. And notice as I click backwards, all right, it's modifying things. I'm not sure how far back this will step, but you've got quite a few steps. I would say at a minimum about 20 of them. So as long as you catch your mistake early, just click undo and go back. If you overshoot and go too far, come over here to the redo arrow, which is the right turn arrow, and click forward again. All right, so we're back to where we started with that. That's definitely a quick way to do it. Maybe a little cumbersome because you have to click until you find it. There's another way to go about it if you know exactly what you messed up, and that is to use the timeline down here at the bottom. The timeline in Fusion 360 kind of mimics the timeline in a movie, okay, if you've ever used movie software. And one of the things that we can do is we can roll over with our mouse, and you'll notice that each icon highlights something different. That tells me what I was working on. If you double click on these icons, it will reopen that particular step and you can go back and change it. So let's find our extrude icon for the actual block and let's change the height. Well, right there is my block. It's all highlighted. I'm going to double click and we're back to that step where we extruded it. All I need to do now is go into my distance and change that to 3 inches. It already modified it. I click OK. And you're going to notice when I click OK, everything else that I did to it is going to automatically adjust. So the hole is going to move down so it stays in the center. All of the chamfers and fillets are going to be right where they should be. So I'm going to click OK. And now it's modified that block. Let's say that I realize that my chamfers need to be a different size. Again, I'm going to move over and find those chamfered edges, which is right here. Double click. And maybe I was supposed to make these 50 thousandths of an inch, so I'll change it to 0.05. They adjusted. I click OK. And now we've modified that. All right, so there's different things you can do to go in and make those changes. Now, one of the other cool parts is that we can adjust a sketch. So maybe we're far into our drawing and we realize that our hole is not the correct size. I'm going to find the sketch where that is. So right here is the extrusion for the hole, and right here is the sketch because I was on that face. So I'm going to double click. It's opened up sketch mode. And many of you have asked questions about how do I change the size of something after the fact? Well, if you go back into sketch mode, you'll notice I have a dimension here. I'm going to double click on the number. And this is correct for a drawing, but let's pretend that I wanted it to be 1 inch. Well, I could type 1 and hit enter. And now the hole has adjusted its diameter size. If I go to finish sketch, it's going to automatically make that different in our drawing. So I'm going to click finish sketch. And you'll notice the hole has enlarged, but again, everything else is the same. So it made that adjustment and changed everything else accordingly. All right, so we could undo to go back 2 steps. There we go. Or if I go forward again, remember we can go down to our timeline, find the sketch, double click, and let's go back and change this to 0.625. So I just clicked on the number, I type it in, and I hit enter. And when I hit finish sketch, we now have our 1, 2, 3 block corrected. So hopefully that helps you out in trying to make adjustments if you happen to make a mistake or mess something up. The beauty of CAD is we don't have to erase and try again. We've got very, very quick features to go back and make adjustments or changes. I hope that helps you out.